Looks like Myles Garrett will still have to wait to include Aaron Rodgers on his QB graveyard as Myles Garrett ends this game 0 sacks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers come out on top to improve to 4-1 on the young 2025 campaign with a win over the Cleveland Browns at home, 23-9. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today we're going to be giving my full takeaways and game balls and all that great stuff coming up here as the Steelers start their season 4-1 as they prepare for the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football coming up here in Week 7. But before we get into my thoughts on this football game, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to catch all of our post-game reactions on this channel all throughout the 2025 campaign. So let's talk about this one, man. I thought today the Steelers put together their most complete performance of the 2025 season. I said the same thing when they beat the Minnesota Vikings in Dublin, and they just continued to build off a lot of the good things that they did in Minnesota. They were doing a really good job in the run game, particularly in the second half, especially with the jumbo personnel looks. They were throwing the ball down the field more often today. Rodgers didn't hit every single one of those, but Rodgers at the end of the day, man, 21 of 30, 235 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Once again, he was the orchestrator and the conductor that this team has frankly needed for several seasons. They haven't had that with Kenny Pickett. They haven't had that with Russell Wilson. They haven't had that with Justin Fields. They haven't had that with Mason Rudolph. They finally have the quarterback that can get the most out of this team. It's great to see Jaylen Warren get back in there. He had some really good runs today as well. DK Metcalf, 4 catches for 95 yards and adds yet another touchdown. But, man, there's a lot of people going into this game talking about Mike Tomlin and how this is a classic Tomlin game and, oh, the Steelers are going to lose at home versus the Browns. They don't lose to the Browns at home unless, it's in the playoffs, I guess, because the Browns still haven't beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers at home since 2003. So the Steelers continue that. Mike Tomlin's never lost a game at Acrisure Stadium to the Browns in the regular season. And once again, Mike Tomlin completely destroyed a rookie quarterback. Once again, Mike Tomlin showed that the defensive structure of this defense can be creative, and they did a bunch of creative pressure looks, and they did a lot of very fun stuff in this ball game here. And I don't think you can say anymore that this Steelers defense and this Steelers defensive coaching staff don't know what they're talking about, man, because they were getting pressure pretty consistently on Dillon Gabriel, and overall it was a very good football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion. We did attain some injuries here, though. Unfortunately, Miles Killebrew left the game. Special teams captain left the game with a knee injury, was designated as out immediately. So I'm guessing that's probably a season-ending knee injury. I'm hoping to hear something better. We'll have an update on some injuries later in today's in our second post-game show that comes out later tonight. But Darius left this game, I believe, with a shoulder injury. We'll have an update from Mike Tomlin when he hits the podium, and I'll talk about his status as we get to that second video. But everybody else, Jabril Peppers left the game shortly. Brandon Echols did as well. Joey Porter Jr. did as well. All those guys ended up returning to the game. So I'm sure we'll get updates from Coach T, the ones that we should be made aware of. And I'll have an update on those guys later in our second post-game show coming up later this evening. But now let's get into the game balls here, starting with Chris Boswell. Yeah, he missed a kick, but he slipped. And, I thought, obviously, making those 3 kicks early on, I mean, it was the reason why the Steelers were able to get out to a 2-score lead. And once again, Chris Boswell shows why he's the best kicker in the league, at least in my opinion. Second up here, Connor Hayward. All I keep hearing about this guy is that, he's only on the team because of Cam, and he can't do anything right, and all this different stuff. And he goes out there and makes a hell of a play, keeping his eyes on the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, in scramble drill, and nothing's there on a play-action bootleg out to the right in the red zone. Works to the other side against the grain, and then Rodgers puts a dime on him, and it's a contested catch situation. He hauls in a tough catch. So really glad to see Hayward haul in that catch. And hopefully we can see a little bit more of that as the season goes on. But really happy for Connor. He gets a game ball. Then Darnell Washington, man. Like, the offense hasn't used Darnell Washington as much as they did today all season long. I think he had more catches today than he had the entire previous season to this point in the first 4 games. So with Calvin Austin the third out, they definitely prioritize getting the ball to Darnell a bit more. And good. I mean, this guy's a massive human being. He's tough to bring down after the catch. He did have a drop today, but for the most part, he had very reliable hands. And you just love to see Mount Washington be used in the Steelers offense, right? How long have we been clamoring for the Steelers to use Darnell Washington in the fashion that they did today? You got to keep using him, keep using Spencer Anderson as well. He was doing some really good stuff today again as well. Then two guys on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Herbig, the edge rusher, had another 2 sacks to his season total today, and you can just tell, man, that the impact that he is having on this defense is huge. And frankly, how great is it to have T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig back? T.J. had another good game today. Affected the quarterback multiple times as well, despite a ton of chip help. And Nick Herbig was on the other side there many times, making shit happen as he usually does. So big shout out to Nick Herbig. And then Jalen Ramsey, his first 2-sack performance of his career today, absolutely leveled Dillon Gabriel not once but twice in this ball game. And I love to see this defense use him in the way that I wanted them to use him this year. What did I say all offseason, guys? Use Jalen Ramsey as a blitzer. He's one of the best blitzing corners in all of football. And what I love about this Steelers defense, guys, is it's not just Ramsey. They're blitzing Deshaun Elliott. They're blitzing Patrick Queen. They're blitzing Peyton Wilson. Like, these quarterbacks have no idea who is coming at any given time, and it's tough for them, especially for young quarterbacks like Dillon Gabriel, to kind of sift through all that stuff. So really appreciate these 5 guys. They get my game balls today, but let me know down there in the comment section, who is the MVP for the Steelers? Did I miss somebody on my list? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pinned question. Just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. While I tell you about Prize Picks, let me know who the MVP for the Steelers was in this Week 6 win. With that, let's have a word from our sponsor here today at Prize Picks. And you and I, we both make decisions every single day. But on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football season is finally here, and you better believe I'll be getting my Prize Picks lineups in all season long, including for Sunday Night Football tonight against the Chiefs and Lions. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks also puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And PrizePicks also offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And a new feature from PrizePicks that I absolutely love is injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks will not count it as a loss. So you guys can see here, Ponzi and I made some money with our friends at PrizePicks today because we took the more on passing touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers, the more on rushing yards for Jaylen Warren, and the less on rushing yards for Quinshon Judkins. All of these hit today, which means Ponzi and I are walking away with some money from our friends at PrizePicks. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup and get in on the action today. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup on the free PrizePicks app today. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So my first takeaway here, guys, is that Aaron Rodgers is absolutely slinging it. All right, Aaron may not be the best quarterback in the league. In fact, I would probably put him somewhere between like the 12th and 15th best quarterback in the league right now. But he's playing the brand of football that the Steelers need from their quarterback. All right, he's taking care of the football. He's efficient in the red zone. He can make a big-time throw when needed. He looked awesome today with the play-action bootlegs. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But Aaron Rodgers may not be the best quarterback in the NFL, but he is the quarterback that the Steelers have been waiting for, man. Like, his ability to get the ball to the right person, play efficiently, 21 of 30 today for 235 and 2 touchdowns and no picks. A really good quarterback rating again. PFF, are you sure this guy's the worst starting quarterback in the league? Because he looks pretty fucking good to me, all right? He's pretty darn efficient. He had a couple downfield shots today. He missed a big one down the sideline to DK Metcalf on a potential like 60-yard touchdown or whatever it would have been. But other than that, he looked good throwing the ball down the field. They threw the ball down the field more often today than they have in previous weeks, and that was my prediction heading into the week. And plain simply, guys, those jumbo personnel packages with Darnell and Spencer in there, it forces teams to really respect the run. And we saw the play-action game return because of that as well today. I mean, when was the last time we saw like a true play-action bootleg from under center like we saw multiple times today since the Jets game? And the Jets game was Rodgers' best game as a Steeler to this point. Also, another thing with Rodgers I didn't mention is he got the ball out quickly. Okay, I can't explain how important that is when you go up against Myles Garrett. No sacks today. A lot of it was because Rodgers was getting that ball out fast, and Arthur Smith had a great plan of action. But, man, play action is finally back in the Steelers' offense. Over the last several weeks, play action wasn't as big of a factor. And, frankly, the 2 best offensive performances for the Steelers this year have been games where they have really prioritized going under center or even having, in shotgun play action concepts for Rodgers to roll out to his right And Rodgers' arm talent is on full display when he's rolling to his right, guys. There's still not a lot of quarterbacks in this league that can throw the ball as hard as Aaron Rodgers can while on the run. So big shout out to Rodgers. Big shout out to Arthur Smith, who I thought had a really good game plan today, which included getting the ball to DW. We talked about it in the game ball section, but man, you got to keep getting the ball to this guy. 3 catches for 62 yards for an average of 20.7. And I love the concept from Arthur Smith to start this game where you have that jumbo personnel package. Everyone in the building thinks you're running the football with Jaylen Warren, and then you insert Darnell Washington into the C gap. Everyone thinks he's going in there to block, and then he just runs right past the defense. He's wide open. Beautifully designed concept from Arthur Smith. So, listen, man, get the ball to Darnell Washington more often, all right? I can't stress this enough, especially when you get into the red zone. But then, maybe on the more negative side of things here, there wasn't a wide receiver, too, that stepped up today, plain and simply. I mean, Darnell Washington was essentially your number 2 receiver. Muth got a catch today. Jonnu had some nice stuff as a designated kind of player. But Roman Wilson had 1 catch today, and I think Roman and Scotty combined in for 1 target on the day. Now, Roman had a first down. He had a 12-yard completion. That's good. That's all good and great. But, obviously, as the game kind of went on, Rodgers did not really look Roman's way a whole lot, which means there's not a whole lot of trust between Rodgers and Roman at this point. And, I think Scotty Miller's a decent backup. I don't think, he's a legit starting receiver in this league. So, obviously I think the Steelers probably can't sign a receiver and expect them to play as we get ready for Cincinnati next week. But we'll see if Roman and Scotty can get more involved next week against Cincinnati because their defense is not nearly as good as the Browns are in man coverage. So it's red pen time. Let me know down there in the comments section. Grade the Steelers' performance today, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. For me, I'm going to give it a very solid A-, maybe even an A. I thought they took care of business today. That's kind of the theme of the week, was to take care of business, not allow the Browns to steal a win from you at home. And thank God they didn't. Then we finish out here with a couple more takeaways. Now on defense, what I'm so impressed by, man, is Jalen Ramsey. And a big reason why he got one of my game balls today is because he had to play everywhere today. All right, there was injuries all over this secondary, and they asked Ramsey to play outside corner. They asked him to play in the box. They asked him to play in the slot. They asked him to play deep safety. They asked him to play true free safety, the single deep defender down the middle of the field. They asked him to do everything today. And, coming off that hamstring injury where he's not been able to do a whole lot of football stuff over the last 2 weeks and come in kind of cold, and play as well as he did today. Big testament to Jalen Ramsey and how good of a football player he is. Then I thought the defense lived up to the hype today, guys. This is what Steelers defensive football was supposed to look like this year. And, it was the first time where this defense was altogether healthy for, at least going into the game. And they looked that way. They were getting after Dylan Gabriel. They were doing a decent job in coverage. They did a good job today on defense overall. Obviously, you only give up 9 points, and this is the first time in a long time a Steelers defense has given up less than 10. I think the last time might have been the Ravens game last year. I can't remember. Did they score 13? I can't remember how much the Ravens scored at home last year. But it's been a while since this Steelers defense had a performance where they held a team to under 10 points. And this is the first time in the last 12 games that the Steelers have held their opponent to less than 300 total yards. So this is the best Steelers defensive performance we have seen over, a long period of time here, and I'm just hoping that they can keep it up. All right, that Bengals offense is in shambles right now. There's no excuse why the Steelers can't play even better on defense than they played this week versus Cleveland. And then my kind of overall takeaways here, we'll end with my final 2. Still in the driver's seat in the AFC North. If you guys didn't know, the Baltimore Ravens did lose to the Los Angeles Rams today. They are officially 1-5 heading into the bye next week, and the Steelers are 4-1, and they're playing Cincinnati next week with a chance to improve to 5-1. Cincinnati is 2-3, and they're probably going to lose today, go to 2-4, and Cleveland is now 1-5. So you are definitely still in the driver's seat if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if the odds makers don't have the Steelers as the favorite to win the division now, I don't know how they ever will. But listen, man, the focus needs to remain week to week for the Steelers. They can't let their foot off the gas. All right, because guess what? The Ravens are going to be getting Lamar Jackson back, and the Steelers can't afford to get 8 or 9 wins at the end of the season and just hope that leads you to an AFC North championship. You got to try and maximize the amount of wins that you can get. You start the season off 4-1. You're playing your best football right now. You got to capitalize on that, man. So you got to get on to Cincinnati now. You got to focus up. I know Cincinnati is probably the worst team in the AFC North right now. They're even worse than the Browns, guys, in my opinion. But you can't allow them at home on a short week. We know things can get funky on these short week games. Just look at the Giants kicking the Eagles' ass last week on Thursday, all right? Mike Tomlin has to keep these guys focused. We have to maximize the amount of wins we can get this year. So hopefully we can get not just one home playoff game, but maybe even get multiple. Increase our standing in the AFC as a whole. So the Steelers absolutely cannot put their foot off the gas pedal next week versus Cincinnati. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to celebrate our Week 6 victory. We also passed 100,000 subscribers today, guys, so I want to thank you guys so much for that. And make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. Like I mentioned, guys, we did pass 100,000 subscribers today. We are the first Steelers news channel anywhere on YouTube to do so. It is the 7th channel in Chat Sports history to do so. And when I took over this channel, we were at 18,000 subscribers. And over the last 3 years since I've been here, I couldn't ask for a better fan base to share, a passion with, which is Pittsburgh Steelers football. So we're going to continue to get you guys the best damn Steelers coverage money can buy, 100% free on this channel. But I just want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for making one of my professional dreams come true today. Now, to kind of wrap up today's show, guys, obviously really great win, 23-9, multiple score victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played their best overall game, and honestly, they've been playing better week in and week out, especially on defense, in my opinion. And I think that this team is really finding their identity and their groove. They are a jumbo personnel heavy, play action, sometimes drop back passing type of team. And, they know what their strengths are and they know what their weaknesses are. And that's the telltale sign of a coaching staff that knows what the hell they're doing. All right, I know Mike Tomlin gets a lot of flack for, not making adjustments and all this different stuff, but I can't beg to differ more. I mean, this team, since week 1, has made so many different adjustments. They have done so many great stuff defensively, especially over the last 2 games. They have done so many good things, not just on defense either, man. Like Arthur Smith has made adjustments on offense, going to these jumbo personnel looks, understanding that Rodgers needs to get the ball out quickly and developing a really good run-after-the-catch offense here in Pittsburgh. Like this Steelers team right now can beat any team on any given Sunday right now. I truly believe that. It's got to feel good to be sitting at 4-1 when so many other teams in this division are down bad, and now we got to just take care of business on Thursday to get that 4-game advantage over Baltimore before Lamar returns. All right, that'll be it for today's post-game reaction show. I will have another video come out later today, guys. It's probably around halftime of Sunday Night Football. Maybe it'll be right before, but make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Till next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.